What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? How we doing? We are live. What's up, Instagram? What's up, YouTube? How are we feeling? We're still waiting on Robert Saleh news to officially drop. There's no official word. Obviously, we're waiting. We're patiently waiting. I'm patiently waiting. Maybe some of you guys are impatiently waiting. But yeah, the word on the street yesterday was Robert Saleh is in line to be the new defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, as long as he doesn't take a head coaching job. You know, there's people that are going to spin it a certain way and write it a certain way and say, oh, he has the job. He's officially the guy. And yeah, you know how it works. You know how social media works. I'm not that guy. I tell you guys the updates as I see them. I try to report them honestly. And everybody knows Robert Saleh is in line to be the next defensive coordinator for the 49ers, highest paid. This morning, Pete Carroll, he takes the Las Vegas Raiders head coaching job, which is great because that was a team that was looking at Robert Saleh. So you can check Saleh off that list. There's pretty much one more team that could make him an offer. It's the Cowboys. I know there's reports out there. Matt Barrows was on the Tim Kawakami podcast, and he said, you know, the Niners are a little worried that the Cowboys could make him that offer. I just don't see it. I think they want an offensive coach. And also, Matt Barrows said that maybe Pete Carroll would want to take him on his staff. But Robert Saleh, according to Matt Mayoko yesterday, said that if he becomes a defensive coordinator, it will be for the 49ers. So you can scratch that off. But, of course, the views, people got to report things. People want to post things and get their clout. I don't think that Saleh goes to the Raiders because he would like to take a head coaching job if he's going to go to the Raiders. He's not getting that. Why would you take the defensive coordinator job with the Raiders if you already basically committed to the Niners, according to Matt Mayoko? But Robert Saleh did coach with Pete Carroll back in the day in Seattle. So, I mean, I can understand why people say that. But I think we're just waiting to see what Saleh's final decision is, because basically he's probably just seeing if any other teams are going to throw a bone to him or any interviews. But I think right now it's just a formality, and we're waiting. We're just patiently waiting. So I think Miguel says, I wonder if the Cowboys vacancy is holding it up. Yeah, again, that was the one team left that Saleh has had some connections. And I think maybe he's just trying to figure out if they're going to go that route or not. Maybe he's trying to be nice and wait for the call or call Jerry Jones. You know, you never know how the Cowboys act. You know, they're crazy. But I think that in the end of it, we're going to have Robert Saleh as the defensive coordinator for the 49ers. And even crazier, so according to Matt Mayoko this morning on his YouTube, he said that he doesn't think Brandon Staley will be back, which is kind of surprising, right? We didn't know that Brandon Staley was in line to get rid of, to get canned, but that's the assumption from Matt Mayoko. He's pretty tuned in with the Niners. So they're getting rid of Nick Sorensen. They're getting rid of Brian Schneider. They already did. And now they're potentially going to get rid of Brandon Staley. What a turnaround. Like, Kyle Shanahan is standing on business. He's making big decisions, him and John Lynch. I'm really excited because I feel like this is the year they realize we got to make some massive changes, some big shockwaves. And, you know, usually they don't. They kind of take some small changes here. And, you know, I think this is the year they're going to make some just huge money moves. And I'm happy right now. So I think it all definitely depends on Robert Saleh joining. And he'll bring in his coaches like we talked about yesterday. He'll bring in some of his old players. Right now, I think it's a lot of positivity. So Miguel says Staley runs a different defensive scheme compared to Saleh. That's why he'll dip. Yeah, it 100% makes sense that, you know, you're not going to keep this guy if he's not going to be able to coach your system. You know, just get him out of there. And also, according to the reports and all the news that's out there, the 49ers are going to let Robert Saleh basically be like his own boss of the defense. So it's like, we mentioned this yesterday, they really have two head coaches. They have two head coaches. Now, you have an offensive head coach. That's going to be Kyle Shanahan. He's the overall head coach. And then you have a defensive head coach, and they're going to allow him to make decisions, in, you know, free agency and the draft. And I think that's why it makes no sense for him to be a DC anywhere else, because the Niners are giving him so much power, so much control. It's kind of like he is a head coach. He's like head coach 2.0. He's like head coach light. It's like Saleh head coach, Kyle Shanahan head coach. You know, I like that. I like it. It's give this man a lot of power, give him a lot of money, and give him, you know, his flexibility with his defense. Let him build that defense. We know Robert Saleh is a coach. He's been a head coach. Give them that defense. Let them build it. Let them fix it up. Kyle Shanahan, you focus on your offense. Please, for the love of God, go get an offensive line. And we cooking, baby. We cooking. So I like it. My man 49ers Media says, would you bring back Joe Woods and Bobby Slowick? So, yeah, I know the Texans got rid of Bobby Slowick today. They fired him after a down year, first year, last year. Everything was – the vibes were up. They had a bad year. C.J. Stroud dipped. Offensive efficiency really dropped. But I don't know why everybody's saying, oh, Bobby Slowick, because, of course, he has ties to the Niners. Clay Kubiak's basically going to be your offensive coordinator. So I know people are saying, oh, maybe they'll get Slowick as the OC. He was going to be a head coach last year. He was, interviewing and stuff. I mean, yeah, maybe they'll bring back Slowick for a reunion and you bring the band back together. But I don't think it's going to be if they do bring him back as an offensive coordinator, because they've already basically said Clay Kubiak is the guy. And it would be crazy to say, yeah, he's going to be our guy. And then you pass on him for the guy that left a couple years ago. I think that'd just be wild. I think Clay Kubiak will be your offensive coordinator. Maybe you bring in Slowick. Maybe you give him a role on this team because, he can help your system. But I don't think that he'll be back as an OC. I think he could be back to the Niners at some capacity, but I don't see it as an offensive coordinator because that's what everybody's, throwing out there. Oh, man, Bobby Slowick to the Niners offensive coordinator. Did we forget Clay Kubiak's supposed to be the OC? They're just doing some interviews as a formality because they got punished. Right? Remember, they got in trouble from the NFL because they didn't do like a search of coaches to, do their offensive coordinator hiring. So they had to go interview people, but they pretty much told us it's gonna be Clay Kubiak, and to me, it'd be wild for them to do that. So, do I answer people on here? I answered you right there. There's 100 questions on YouTube. There's about 200 questions on Instagram. I go as much as I can. I try to answer as many as I can. So Shanahan wants to focus on offense, reinvent himself. He definitely needs to fix that offense. I think it all starts with building that offensive line. So OSU, Ryan Day was with the Niners. Yeah, he was a quarterback coach, I believe, with Chip Kelly was the head coach. And both of them won a national championship this year. Ohio State, it was crazy, right? Ohio State, they go and get Chip Kelly and Ryan Day, former Niner coach. And that was the dog days of the Niners. I mean, you remember that. Chip Kelly era, Ryan Day. Ryan Day is the head coach, and Chip Kelly is now the offensive coordinator. It's like they flipped roles in a way, and then they took Ohio State to a national championship. The college is so different because college you have, all the recruits. You can recruit so heavily and stack your team. And now it's a little different, though, because of the transfer portal. But it's still, I feel like, such a different game because of the recruits. If you stack your recruits, you're going to have an awesome team. Just like free agency. But in the NFL, you have to pay these guys a lot of money. And now with the transfer portal, players are up to go to another team so they can get that cheddar, get that playing time. So it's a little different. But, yeah, college football. That's why Chip Kelly, I feel, has always done good in college because he can recruit. He can sell you. He can probably recruit the best players. When he was with Oregon, that was a hell of a coach because he recruited so many blue chippers. But in the NFL, you can't get all the top talent in the world. So a little different. Kind of crazy, though. When do you think we know he's locked in? Hopefully soon. Again, we don't know what the holdup is. I think the word is he wants to take that job, he being Saleh. But, the thing is, it's so funny because you got so many people that want to they want to be the one to break the news. They want to be the one that gets it up first. And I I've done this for a while, and I used to be like, gotta be on top, gotta be first. I work 2 jobs and do this and stuff, and sometimes I'm like, it's just not worth it. And to go out there and say you have the source, the news, you do. Honestly, I do have sources. I know people, but I don't use those sources to say I know it before everybody. But in social media and sports media specifically, it's like a dick swinging contest. And these guys want to show that they have a bigger dick than everybody. And it is what it is, man. Yeah, I said it. These guys get so hyped on getting all the likes and the views and the engagement. They think they're better than them because they get thousands of likes. But as you do this for so many years, it's like, it is what it is. I know if I post it, I got a big following. Everybody's going to see it. I'll get the news when I get the news out. But when it's specific things like, oh, Saleh he's officially joined the Niners. Now you're just edging folks, and that's kind of annoying. So you just got to keep it 100 with the fans. Let's see. Steven Reynolds said 49ers allowed 261 yards on 19 punt returns. That was an average of 13.73 yards per return, while the Jets allowed 256 yards and 29, which is an average of 8.8. Must hire Boyer. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty good. That's a great stat. Steven Reynolds, my boy, coming in with the facts. That's why Saleh needs to bring in his special teams coordinator, who they interviewed yesterday, Boyer, for the job, because this special teams unit was absolutely pissed last year. We saw it, right? We saw it the year before. It was bad mistakes. They were letting people rip off big runs, and field position is a big part of this game. If you can pin teams back, your defense is going to be a little bit, better overall, because they're going to be being able to blitz, be a little bit more aggressive. If you're up, midfield and you're marching, it's going to be a little bit harder to stop other teams' offenses with your defense. So yeah, 100%. Field position is a big thing, and getting a good special teams coordinator is good. And hopefully, if Saleh gets that job officially, he can bring in his special teams coordinator. Saleh on a 10-year deal. Yeah, we agreed. You just read Robert doesn't want Staley. Yeah, it makes sense. Again, we talked about it. If Robert Saleh does officially get the job, makes sense that Staley wouldn't be back because they run a different scheme. We talked about that. And that's kind of what Matt Mayoka was saying, is basically, if he's going to be the DC, being Robert Saleh, he's going to pick the guys he wants. And that's what every coach does, right? When they join a new team, you're going to handpick your guys. You want your boys to have success with you, because those guys are the ones that are making you look good. Like Dan Campbell. He's had a fantastic run as the Lions head coach, but he's also had fantastic coordinators. And now they're gone. We're going to really see if Dan Campbell is him. But Aaron Glenn, fantastic DC for him. He had Ben Johnson, great OC for him. They both became head coaches, happy for them. But now, what can Dan Campbell do without those guys? He's really got to replace them. So, when you're a coach, you're going to bring your people. And that's what Robert Saleh is going to do. Like we were talking about the special teams coordinator that he has, Boyer, and he's going to bring him over and expect him to bring other people. You're not going to keep guys that you're not like really rocking with, right? You're going to get rid of people. There's no hard feelings. It's just you want to be comfortable. You want to be able to get the people that you believe in so you can succeed. And that's how sports, that's how NFL coaching circles work. Like Kyle Shanahan, he has a tree. He brings in his people. He gets them, develop, boom, boom. They do great. Then they can leave. And then that tree keeps expanding and expanding. That's how coaching is. It's pretty crazy. But you see around the league, every coach that's been successful, he has great assistants. They go somewhere. They become good. They have assistants. That's the coaching tree. So, yeah, 100% pretty much agree that when Saleh takes the job, Brandon Staley won't be there. So, Saleh will want big play Dre back. I hope so, for sure. What other head coaching positions are available? It's a good question, Win. I believe the Saints job is still open, and I believe the Dallas Cowboys job is still open. If anybody else knows, off the top of my head, those are the two big head coaching vacancies available right now, because most of these teams have filled up their coaching staff. Let's take a look at Julius Callaway says, I'm interested to see how the DBs would do under Saleh, Green, Lenore, Mustafa. Yeah, honestly, Saleh's a great defense coordinator. Look what he did with the Jets. His defense was good. As bad as the Jets have been over the years or not made the playoffs, and they get a lot of nonsense. They get a lot of crap, because they're New York media. But Saleh's defense was always good, always top 5 to top 10. He had great cornerbacks there, right? Great secondary. Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed. Maybe he brings back DJ Reed. But if he doesn't, he has a great set of DBs with the Niners, right? So Mustafa, like you mentioned, Green, who's amazing, Diamond Lenore. Got a really good core of defensive backs here for the 49ers. And if you remember when Saleh was here, he had Richard Sherman, and he made some not so great cornerbacks play better. But I remember Emmanuel Mosley was here. They had a Keller Witherspoon who was up and down during his tenure. I think the coaches didn't favor him, but I'm excited to see what Robert Saleh can do with these young, hungry dogs in the secondary. I'm excited too, Julius, with that. Whoa, we got a little silver alert. We got a missing and endangered adult. We got a little alert there. I had to turn that down. That's kind of loud. Hopefully somebody can find this missing alert. Let's take a look. Some of these comments. Let me go back. Let me recalibrate myself here. I was flowing. Chris Teal says, have I heard anything about Joe Montana wanting to be a part over the owner of the 49ers? I haven't heard anything about that. It's the first time I'm hearing it. Yeah, that'd be cool. Joe Montana, legend, part owner of the Niners. I'm down with it. The alert was Saleh just signed the contract. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? That'd be crazy. That would be amazing. The Saints are they just completed an in-person head coach interview with Dolphins defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver. So look at the Saints have probably narrowed down their list. It really looks like the Cowboys' job is the only job standing in the way of Robert Saleh and the 49ers. Could you imagine if the Cowboys come over the top and hire Saleh and the Niners miss out on him? It'd be 2 years. They stole someone from the Niners if it happens. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Eric Kendricks, last year linebacker, Robert Saleh. They're not going to hire Robert Saleh. I'm just saying, could you imagine? Would be crazy. Would be crazy. My man Peter Parker, what's good? He says, Raj getting some love from Pat McAfee. Yo, shout out to my boy Pat Mac. We met him at Raw a couple weeks ago. Me and my boy Tommy. We met the guy, met the homie. Put in a favor for your boy. And he threw up my graphic on his show today. So shout out to Pat Mac. Big Pat Mac. I love the guy. That was cool, man, to see. And it's always cool when you get your stuff on a mainstream site, mainstream media and stuff. It's always cool. You know, we put in a lot of work, so it's always good to get big recognition. Big Pat Matt, appreciate the shout out on the show today. My man Big City says, how you feeling Saleh being the last option? I think he's the best option, and I think that's what they wanted. I think the Niners knew that was the guy. They waited. I think that was I think it's fine. I think that basically the Niners knew all along who they wanted, and they waited. It was kind of risky. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was a little stressed out during the week, but the way it's played out is pretty insane. But I'm excited about it, and I think that was the best choice. And again, it was a little risky, but I think they made the right decision. And sometimes waiting it out is the best possible way to do it. And the Niners did it, and you know it's gonna come to fruition most likely. So definitely stressful, but having him being the top option and the last option was the right move. He's the guy I think that Kyle wants to fix this team. He knows his track record. He knows he can do the defense. It is his defense. He doesn't have to hold his hand. He has the energy Kyle wants. He can basically just go out there and make this defense what it needs to be. And he can, you know, hire coaches. He can bring in some young players and get some free agents. So, yeah, great move overall. We love Saleh. I mean, all Niner fans want him back. So, yeah, definitely a little dicey towards the end. But shout out to Liam Cohen. We got to mention him again. We got to mention Liam Cohen. I know I posted a lot about him these last 2 days, officially the Jaguars coach. But if it wasn't for Liam Cohen being a snake, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about Robert Saleh possibly being the next defensive coordinator for the 49ers. And with the big possibility, pretty much, you know, what everybody's saying is pretty much, you know, almost a guarantee. I don't want to say guarantee, but it's pretty much done, right? Liam Cohen, man, where do we start? Hey, man, unbelievable. He went from Monday, you know, most likely going to be the highest paid offensive coordinator, turns down a job interview with the Jaguars. He says, I don't want to go there for Trent Baalke, or if Trent Baalke's going to be there, gets the man fired. And if you remember a couple of weeks ago, the Jaguars owner said, yeah, I'd fire him if the coach wants to. He probably told him, fire his ass and I'll come and coach your team. He does a U-turn. He tells his boss, Todd Bowles, my kid is sick. And then he goes and secretly has an interview. Fucking petty king. I love it, man. So without Liam Cohen flipping the script, without Trent Baalke getting fired, like, we wouldn't have Robert Saleh come to the Niners. Like, that is the craziest part of this whole story, was that whole situation. And I'll never forget that story. It is probably one of the most bizarre stories of all time, and in coaching circles. Now, Debbie, actually, Debtopia, she showed me that they actually did this with Kentucky. I know she's in the comments, so I researched it yesterday, and I 100% found that when he was the offensive coordinator for the Kentucky Wildcats in college, you know, he had an opportunity to become the offensive coordinator for the Buccaneers. It was towards the end of all the hiring, you know, times when college football coaches were hiring all their coaches and they were getting ready to start looking into recruits and stuff. Boom, he bolted for the Buccaneers because the job opened. And obviously, you know, NFL jobs happen in February or January towards the end of the season, depending on your playoff status. But he left them. And they had a quarterback transfer into Kentucky because of him, and they promised him he could turn him into a really good quarterback, left him for the Buccaneers. So this is not the first time he snakes someone. I love Liam Cohen, man. Gotta love the energy. He looks out for what's best in his best interest. He looked out for himself. And honestly, I know a lot of people are mad at him, like Buccaneers fans, Buccaneers coaches, like the media in Tampa Bay is so mad at him. But honestly, he did what most Americans would do. You look out for your own self. You look out for your bank account. Because I know most of you guys would do it too for a check. If someone says they're going to pay you 10 times, 2 times, 3 times more than your current job, you're taking that job. I'm pretty sure you will. I know I would. So Cohen is a Niners legend without ever being with the franchise. Leon, that is 100% true. 100%. This man, can we talk to him? Can we say he's a 49ers legend? Never even been on the team. I agree with that. My man, Eagles Avenue says, go Birds. What's up, man? I'm not going to hate you. You know what? You're in the NFC Championship. Salute to you. Respect. You see, I'm a nice guy. Be a nice guy. I know the Eagles fans ruffled our feathers, but I'll be rooting for JD5. But good luck to you. You know, congrats to your team. Good luck to you, man. Hopefully you guys win for your sake. If not, I'll be happy for JD5. But going to be a crazy NFC Championship, man. That's all I like to say. Playoffs this weekend, man. I wish the Niners were in it. They're not. We got Final Four teams: Bills, Kansas City, Philadelphia, and Washington. I think they're going to be 2 really good games, man. Going to be 2 good games, man. Yeah, no doubt. All love for me too, man. Good luck. For sure. Honestly, I'm just hoping anybody but Kansas City wins the Super Bowl. So if you guys make it, I hope you guys can beat Kansas City if they make it, man. Saquon Barkley, he's a dog. Now, get this. This is actually so crazy. If the Eagles make the Super Bowl, they'll be playing the Super Bowl on Saquon Barkley's birthday. That is crazy. A player having his birthday on the Super Bowl, that would actually be like one of the craziest feelings ever. Can you imagine? Take away your bias. Take away, if you hate the Eagles, whatever. Take all that away. Imagine you are a Super Bowl, athlete. You're in the biggest stage as an NFL player, and it's your freaking birthday on the Super Bowl. Would be pretty dope. That would be a cool story. So if the Eagles win it, man, that would be pretty sweet to see Saquon win it on his birthday. That's a fucking cool story, man. So my time is more precious than money. Absolutely. Do you see KJ Wright being promoted as a linebacker coach, just like how they did with D'Amico? Maybe down the line. I mean, I feel like he's still learning, his role with the Niners. He's definitely been there, and I think they liked him. But I think they'll again, if you have Robert Saleh, it's going to really be contingent on him and who he wants to put in those positions. But maybe down the line, I know KJ Wright came onto the staff last year, but it really depends on what Robert Saleh does. So I don't think this year we'll see KJ Wright being promoted anywhere because it's really going to be dependent on who Saleh wants to put in those positions. They have Chris Kasurik, the D-line coach, who's been there for years. I'm sure Robert Saleh will make sure he stays there and treats him nice because he's been a big part of this defense. So it's going to be nice to see that continuity with guys like Saleh and Chris Kasurik there. But there's going to be some new faces there. So it depends if Saleh's going to keep those new guys or if he's going to get rid of some of them and bring in some of his own guys from, being with the Jets. So can I say happy birthday? Happy birthday to Brandon and happy birthday to Leo over there. I don't know if it's really your birthday, but happy birthday because there's a guy on here. He'd be trolling. He says it's his birthday every day. But if it's really your birthday, happy birthday. Was it made official? No, it's not. We'd be going crazy. We'd be going crazy. I have my phone here. I have my screen here on StreamYard, my app, my computer. I have my phone here where we're streaming on YouTube or on Instagram. And then I have my other phone here just refreshing on the updates. So we'll see. It's close. We're getting close. Is Saleh back for sure? It's not official, but I'm all signs lead to yeah. If the only way that Saleh doesn't take this job is if the Raiders come over, not the Raiders, sorry, the Cowboys coming over the top and give him the head coaching job. So Rajon Rondo. What's up, man? Chris Teal, if the Niners don't re-sign Josh Dobbs, should they draft a rookie quarterback or sign another quarterback, knowing that the Niners do with the rookie quarterback? I think they'll have Tanner Mordecai as QB3 this year. I could still see them drafting a quarterback in the draft to keep him on the practice squad, like to be the next Tanner Mordecai, basically. And I think they will get a veteran in free agency. I think they'll get someone like Danny Dimes or somebody, because look at what happened a couple years back. They went and grabbed Sam Darnold. He was the QB2. I think they'll do something like that. I really do, because yes, they're going to pay Brock. Yes, he's going to be your quarterback one, but you need to have a decent backup. And I think that they'll look into the market and get somebody that's a veteran that could step in. Maybe I don't know, Andy Dalton, somebody, right? Somebody that can just be a veteran in case of emergency. You break glass in case of emergency. So I think that's what the 49ers will do with their backup situation. So if Saleh comes back, how many seasons is he staying? That's a good question. I think at least 2. Hopefully he doesn't go one and done, because if he goes one and done, because if Saleh does great, teams are going to be knocking down the door and say, we want Saleh, because he's been interviewed for head coaching jobs this year. Imagine if he does amazing with the Niners, which we all think he will. Teams are going to want him as a head coach. So I think it could be one and done. I'm thinking at most 2 years, so the Niners can convince him, hey, stay 1 more year so we could get that compensatory pick when you leave. I don't know. I think it'll probably be 2, max 3-year contract. But I really feel that Saleh, if he does amazing this year and he knocks it out of the park, it's a one and done. So, which is not a horrible thing. I know we want him to stay for a long time, but if he does a great job, it's only going to be a beneficial situation for him. It's like a win-win situation for Saleh, right? He gets to go to the Niners. He gets to showcase himself, make everybody realize, oh, crap, we should have hired him. He's a hell of a defensive coach. And then he becomes a head coach, and then back to making millions of dollars. He's going to make millions, but even more millions than he would as a DC. So who's my draft crush? I got a couple of draft crush, but I think right now I'm really, really hyped up on Will Campbell or Kelvin Banks. I really want the Niners to go offensive line at that tackle position. Those 2 guys have been unbelievable from what I've been looking at on film and, everything you see out there. And those are the top 2. I feel like if the 49ers are going to go and grab an offensive lineman in the first draft, but I don't know if they're going to be there at 11, because they're both top 10 picks in my eyes. Mason Graham, defensive tackle from Michigan's a monster in the middle. Maybe you go to that route because you need to fix that D-line as well. Trenches is where you got to really hunker down for this defense, for this draft. I don't know. And also, if Robert Saleh's the new DC, maybe he wants to take a nasty defensive lineman. So those 3 guys right now are probably my top 3 draft picks. So there we go. So any case, again, Robert Saleh is not officially the defensive coordinator, but it's getting close. It's getting close, ladies and gentlemen. He will basically be the defense coordinator as long as the Cowboys don't make him their head coach. Hopefully it's just a matter of moments and we can be hyped up and come back live and say, it's official breaking news. That's what we want. The good news is most of these teams have filled their head coaching jobs. So I think it's pretty much inevitable. And then again, Brandon Staley's most likely going to be gone from the 49ers because obviously Saleh's in. He's going to pick his staff. And I don't think Brandon Staley makes sense on his staff because they run totally different defenses. And Pete Carroll was officially named the Las Vegas Raiders head coach. So that eliminates Saleh out of the race to be the Raiders head coach. Now, they could come over the top and try to make Saleh the defensive coordinator. But again, according to what Matt Mayoko said yesterday, he does not believe that's the case because Robert Saleh reportedly told the team that he would be a defensive coordinator only with the 49ers if he's going to be a defensive coordinator this year. So that's the big key in the whole situation. If Robert Saleh is going to be a defensive coordinator, it is going to be with the 49ers. He's only leaving the Niners. He's only not going to the Niners if he gets a head coaching job. And the one job that's really available is the Dallas Cowboys. So stay tuned. We'll keep an eye on this situation. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Happy Friday. And bless y'all hearts. I love you. Go Niners. And let's hope that Robert Salah news drops sometime today. Happy Friday, and enjoy the weekend. Enjoy all the playoff games. I know Niners aren't there, but it's gonna be a fun weekend. Go get some pizza. Go get some wings. Enjoy it. Have a fun time. I love y'all. Take care. Go Niners.